RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. We're back for another live stream, and wow, boy, do we have a lot of things to touch on. And tonight we're going to start off with one of the many alarming things that's occurred within the last week or so, and it happens to be about the response from the president and him labeling himself the president of law and order, and the fact that he's going to put thousands upon thousands of heavily armed military personnel in the streets. So we're going to touch on that, and I want to actually hear from you guys and see what's going on in your neck of the woods. How has the response been in your cities, and go from there. So I want to open the phone lines up earlier than usual tonight, and just get a chance to hear from everybody and see where it takes us. So that being the case, welcome to this live stream. Definitely, we're living in very alarming times. I would consider definitely emergency status all the way around on several fronts, politically, monetarily, you name it. So let's touch on that tonight. So before we dive further, we got Spear King, we got Jay Divine, we got Excalibur, Tony Blaylock in the building. Sees a lot of comments. We got Kron, B2C, we got Goldie. Fair amount of people tuning in, man. I appreciate you guys from taking time to watch in. It says Death But This said they closed Walmart in Southgate, Michigan. We will have called up 1 million retired military. Well, he did call up 1 million retired military. Yeah. Called in National Guard in South Carolina. And so as of now, I haven't heard much about the National Guard here in the Metro Detroit area, but it's good to say they're coming because of the response that's happened downtown Detroit. And unfortunately, this past Saturday, we actually lost the life of a young man that was apparently shot. I'm not sure if it's a stray bullet or whatnot, but yeah, things got ugly in the city of Detroit, and it seemed like it's spreading outside of the city of Detroit as far as people looking to protest and just express their displeasure in its current system. And yeah, so that being the case, not quite sure how to start this one off due to the fact that it's a real touchy subject at its least. So I want to cover all angles and just share with you this article. I was actually listening to President Trump during his little press announcement from the Rose Garden a couple hours ago, and trying to get a better understanding of what he's talking about. But I want to hear from you guys. And so I'm going to, as I share this article here, I'm going to make it so that I can open up the phone lines, and we'll get right into what's going on. So this is the article here that caught my attention, where I'm like, we just got to lead off with this tonight. It says Trump said he's mobilizing heavily armed. When I saw the words heavily armed, I'm thinking like, okay, yeah. And I remember months and months, years and years talking about this type of event, me anticipating something of this magnitude. Didn't realize that it would come as the result of what in times past we would probably call a false flag event, but definitely with the deaths of several African Americans, I don't consider that a false flag. That is a direct flag that was thrown to start this, and then the repercussions from that, and it's escalated to straight into criminal activity by a lot of people that want to see this thing escalate into an all-out racial war. But yet, the military heavily armed, it gets a lot worse than that. So anyway, let me thumb through some of the chats, and then we'll go from there. It says, only solution is to come together and create a better for ourselves and each other, provide options outside of their system. Gregory, I would agree. And that's the thing, like right now, it's usually after a crisis hits that people begin thinking about solutions or options on how to improve the circumstances that we're currently in. Whereas it's not too late, but the likelihood of us being able to rally and unify ourselves without those that have infiltrated and outright ruined any chance of a peaceful protest. Because I've looked at the demographics of the crowds, and when you see a front line full of people that are not Black, African American, or whatever you want to call it, in line, you can't tell who's sincere and who's not. A lot of people are emotionally charged by these events, and a lot of people are, frustrated, fed up, you name it. But yet, when you've been infiltrated with a lot of people with ulterior motives that are paid protesters, you really can't tell what's going on other than you see the response, and it's very, very, very dangerous. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, pay me money back from Plain Text.
How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind tonight, boss man?
This is my problem. If the American people sit back and let Trump use our own people against us over a peaceful protest, man, we done lost our rabbit ass mind. I'm not saying go down there with violence, but people got to start waking up. We pay taxes for the military. I'm a veteran. That's why I'm pissed off about it. It ain't no way I done went over here to Operation Enduring Freedom to fight for this dang on country, and then I come back and the same people that I was with fighting in this war, which I done lost battle buddies to, and we're going to sit back and put our own people against our own people? Nah, man. This ain't the America that I'm with.
Right, man. I understand that 100%. So, here's one of the things is with the problems at hand, we're facing the problems right now. Give us one thing that you think can help improve the situation. How can we come together right now? I see one method out there where I see police officers that, are showing that they're with the people by taking a knee, but yet that's just, a knee doesn't really justify anything, but that's a kind gesture by the law enforcement for those that have done that. But what do you think about that?
I can tell you exactly what we need to do from a professional military standpoint. We need to turn our energy and go to the politics. Nothing moves without political say-so. We need to go. All right, check this out. If you go back, I don't remember exactly what year it was, but you can pull it up. Do you remember when Egypt got rid of all their leadership? They protested and they said if the president didn't step down, they were going to do whatever. Like, I remember when that happened. It was all over the world news.
Arab Springs, yeah. Yep, I remember that. Arab Springs, I think it was, I'm going to pull it up right now, but I remember the events. Yep.
Now, if we can get our ducks in a row to do something like that, and if we're fed up, first of all, we're destroying our own businesses. You're going to destroy some businesses, and I do not condone destroying businesses. You're going to destroy some business. You need to go over there to the Walmarts and stuff like that. Not these mom and pop stores, like they got it all backwards. I'm saying if you're going to go that route.
Yeah.
But if we're going to do something peacefully, we need to go to the politics. We need to go to the politicians, the ones that's creating all these rules. Trump using the military against protesters, that's not what we pay for. Are you serious?
Right. Hey, I appreciate your call and sharing your thoughts, my friend. Let me get a couple more people on here. I appreciate you for sharing that.
Not a problem, bro. You have a good one.
Yep, too. Yeah. So that's one of the things, protesting, and that's one of the things where, unfortunately, protesting, when it's infiltrated by people who have an agenda to destroy, loot, kill, they're getting paid. There's paid protesters out there that are deliberately trying to cause chaos, to disrupt it. And it's all based upon political agendas. Like right now, left, right, whatever, it's one big charade right now. So politically standing up, voicing our opinions, definitely is something we should have been doing well before now. But I think too many people have drunk in the Kool-Aid of the left-right paradigm, the good guy, bad guy paradigm of, one individual can make the type of change that we need. This is a generational event right now that's starting to rear its head above ground, and the military on the ground doesn't help at all. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, good evening, Mike. It's Nathaniel calling from New York City.
Nathaniel from New York, my friend. What's on your mind? Give me your thoughts on this.
Mike, I wanted to apologize to you first of all, because I remember I was watching your other show and you said you was asking your viewers if this might be the spark to the powder keg. And I was saying that this wouldn't be because people aren't hungry.
Yeah.
Because when people don't have food in their bellies and the basic necessities of life, then they'll be upset.
Yeah.
I live in Brooklyn, in Flatbush section of Brooklyn in particular, and every night it sounds like a war zone because they're shooting off tear gas and rubber bullets at these protesters and rioters and stuff. And in the daytime it's more tranquil and peaceful. So I try to move around in the daytime because I don't want to get caught up in the mayhem.
Yeah.
But what I'm noticing is every morning when I do take a drive, I'm noticing that there's food lines out around these churches like that are blocks long. It's crazy. And I'm like, okay, this is what I was telling Mike, and I'm like, oh shit, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is what I was saying that, you know. Yeah, so you were right about that. This might be a straw because this is looking like it's not gonna let up. This might be the wrong.
Yeah.
And I watched Trump's speech and I was like, it almost felt like he declared war on his own citizens.
Yeah, and so I was going through a list to myself, and it's one of the things where I from the alternative media realm that I've been in for years now, I anticipated something like this, but I didn't really see how it would go down. But I'm starting to be able to connect all those dots back in the day into this current narrative now, where you got two scenarios out there. You know, you have the people saying that this is a part of agenda to take out the bad seeds in our current political structure and all that stuff like that. And then on the other end of that, you got just the idea that a man's obsessed with a second term. And I always wonder, what is the ultimate agenda of a second term? What do you want to accomplish that can make America great again? So all that right there, I never bought into that. So yeah, you know, and then you see, you know, Russia and Putin over there talking about by end of July, they have to vote on whether or not he's going to have an extended, you know, an open-ended presidency as well as President Xi. So what if you got President Xi got 20 years, you know, presidency, Putin got a 20 years thing. Is Trump trying to, you know what I'm saying, do something like that where he gets up much longer? Or so you never know, but it does it spells danger for the people, man. But
right. Let me say this.
Yeah.
Trump, if he gets the second term, he's gonna do things that, man, by single-handedly, unilaterally, he's gonna do things that he wish he could have did in his first term. I know that much because he has nothing to lose at that point.
Right.
It's like you can't have a third term, you know.
Right.
Like, you know, by the book it says that, but who knows what he would try to do.
Yeah.
You know, because this guy, his ego, he's a little unhinged, man.
Yeah.
You know, he's a little unhinged, man.
Hey, man.
I'm gonna let somebody else get on.
I appreciate you, man.
Keep doing what you're doing, man. I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you for
Take
calling.
care, be safe.
Yeah, be good. Yeah, interesting. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, it's low blood pressure, Corpus Christi, Texas.
Corpus Christi. How you doing, my friend? How's those streets in Corpus Christi looking?
They're clear. They're clear, Mike. Hey, Mike, I come at the Target that they were robbing and looting. I didn't see anybody taking any work boots out of there. What's going on with that?
Yeah, man. So speaking of Target, man, so Target, Minneapolis closed down. I think I heard 24 initially. Then as a response to that, they closing down 175, I think nationwide or something like that. So when I heard that large number, it made me wonder, you know, I would imagine Target was looking for a way to close their doors without having to file bankruptcy or have to go through all that financial paperwork and probably get bailed out. So the fact they're closing Targets and stuff like that didn't really make sense outside of, you know, them, because they're still going to go inside and loot the damn places anyway, more than likely. So yeah, interesting, man.
It's insane, Mike. You know, Mike, I think it's over, Mike. This is it. This is the end now. I think the only way to move forward, Mike, is for people to defend their neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. And I honestly think that states are going to start breaking apart here, like, you know, moving away from the U.S. because there's some states, they're not going to put up with this stuff. I almost said a bad word. They're not going to put up with the army on the street, Mike.
Yeah.
People are not going to put up with it. The Texas Rangers are not going to put up with that.
Yeah. And,
you know, the people here, they're not going to put up with that. They're not going to they're going to open fire on these military. I hope they're wearing their vests because I know when I was in the military, they gave us some junky ass old unbulletproof garbage. They're going to end up dying, you know?
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. But I do see, I mean, definitely there's political division. Now we're going to find out how far, you know, that the leftists are willing to take this as far as their desire to upend any type of presidential election by November. Because once again, we're still, you know, literally like right now, halfway through the year. And there's so much uncertainty in the next 5 months before we get to the presidential election. If, you know, and that's, yeah. So I'm going to leave it alone, man. But hey, let me get a couple more people on here. I appreciate your calling.
Oh, all right, Mike. Have a good night.
All right, be good, man.
Bye.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. So that, yeah, man. Thought by thought, I mean, I can go down a rabbit hole, ranting. But as always, I want to hear from you guys. You know, share your thoughts with me. Let me know what's going on in your neck of the woods. Yeah, let's talk it out, man. Either in the chat or give me a call in. I want to hear from you. This is no talk show unless you're talking to somebody, preferably directly. Let me see here. We say it's unfortunate that the looting and riots is overshadowing the real issues. It seems like Antifa is playing a huge role in the initiating of the looting and riot. Very true. So there's more than enough videos out there surfacing where you have people. I saw a video today. Not sure what city it was. It was somebody across the street recording a video. Police car right there on the curb. 3 officers standing on there, and a heavy set Caucasian ladies spray painting Black Lives Matter, and the police sitting there just watching. I'm thinking like, so there's an agenda. When I started seeing empty police cars lined up in the middle of the street with no police in sight, I'm like, that's man, like they were told to stand down and they were told to abandon the station. And so here you have, I don't know which states are leading the way, but from the mainstream media type of things, you hear about it being more on the Democratic side. And then I heard something about a tweet, I think it was from President Trump earlier, saying that some of Joe Biden's staff was bailing out some of the Antifa up in Seattle. And so you got the social media war going on right now. And so it looks like people are protesting at Facebook. They're walking out, having a virtual protest on Mark Zuckerberg, saying he's been a coward and not standing up and fact-checking Trump's on Facebook. So everybody now, once they appear to remove that level of protection against censorship, now a lot of people are opening up a little bit. So I even noticed that YouTube has been a little bit more friendlier on my side. And so I'm thinking like, oh, what's going on here? So the good and the bad about it, who knows, man? But I want to hear from you. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Baby Money back from Killeen, Texas.
How you doing, my man? What's so going on in your neck of the woods?
Hey, you raised the eyebrow when you said how the police cars were lined up, and it looks like they have been totally abandoned, like they have been told to do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do we know? I mean, do you have friends? Do you know like what's being said on the other side of the world in other countries as far as like propaganda? Have we looked at that?
I have not. Unfortunately, I haven't reached out to anybody because everybody outside of just being locked down, I'm not sure if they're protesting for the same issues that we have, but they are protesting in other countries. So I've seen that. So I haven't reached out to nobody directly, though.
I just wanted to make sure that what we see is actually what they're actually telling other people that's what's going on, or is it being flipped in somebody else's eyes? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, a good point. And I would imagine my first guess would be that the narratives are always different based upon the source of information. So I know, especially having lived outside the country, listening to other channels narrate on stuff happening here, it was always not necessarily anti-American, but it was more so like they're lying to their own citizens type of information. Like it was always a different story to where it's somebody's lying. Like it's definitely two sides of the story based upon what they're sharing and what's being reported here. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case right now.
Good deal. All right. I appreciate it, Mike. Thank you.
No problem, my friend. Thanks for calling in. So here's on the screen here. Here's an example of a police car in the middle of the street. I'm assuming the officers decided to, okay, either they were called off, or my thing is that's public property there. That's taxpayers' funds there. And they just allowing people to openly destroy it. And so it just makes you wonder, like, what exactly were they told and how? So here's a video right here. You got to see this one. Let me see here. So this video here really blew my mind. I'm going to make this big so you guys can see it. It's a row of cars that I missed a call. Give me a call back. But it's this video here. It's from a row of cars. It's maybe 6 or 7 cars in the middle of the street. They got the aerial footage of a helicopter showing all this detailed stuff here. No cops in sight. Like, come on now. Like, how do you have 6 or 7 cars out in a row with nobody whatsoever there? So just more stuff that made me really, really begin to just question what's going on. And they're abandoning, how are you going to abandon a police station? Like, a police station is supposed to be where you got all your guns, ammunition. You ain't supposed to come out, blazing, but yet people aren't not supposed to feel confident that they can go up into a police station and just ransack it and force the police out of their own damn station. Anyway, hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Mike, Tony from Oakland. What's going on, brother?
Tony, my man, what's going on, man? What's streets of Oakland looking like?
They just locked us down today. Told us we had to be in the house at 8. So, there's people that Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
When,
yeah.
Well, I just want to say that the world is a big stage.
Yeah.
And we just playing our part.
Yeah.
And some people play it to the T. And need to watch out because this whole thing, what you're seeing on the screen about police cars standing down and everything, all part of the plan. Because now they're gonna say COVID's back out and we need to lock you down for good now. And the people just don't realize what's going on. And out here, they've got a group called Freedom Socialist Party that is protesting here in Oakland, and they're tearing up everything, man. And the people that are legitimately protesting because of what they've seen on TV, they don't even stand a chance because these people are just like tearing up everything. It's just like we're going back a few years ago with that when the car hit the people in Virginia. It's like this whole thing all over again. We've seen this act before, and we keep falling for the okie doke.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that's very disheartening, where I've seen several people out there recording on their phone, and they're saying that they're witnessing people who are out there to literally destroy stuff, and they're calling them out, and there's like been some citizen arrests, and people are actually snitching on the people that's destroying stuff. And so majority of the people are using this as a way to get involved in I've seen people run out of stores with shoes and clothes. I'm thinking what the hell? Like, how does George Floyd's death turn into you getting a chance to go shopping, or stealing, so it's
right.
The majority fell for it.
They had some people out here with a 71-inch screen TV. I'm thinking to myself, where are you going to put that 71-inch screen TV? When are you going to get the U-Haul to rent it? And they closed down all Targets, man, not just yours. They shut them all down.
Yeah.
And I looked at it. The first store that was looted was Target. Then the police are guarding the Target. I'm like, why are they guarding Target? That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, they're shutting them all down.
Yeah. And so
it's an opportunity for some.
Yeah.
In more ways than one. But it's detriment to all of us.
Yeah, it is. It is, because as you mentioned, we're still this week, especially, like as of next week, we're supposed to be reopening according to what our governor told us. But it's just very interesting how it was supposed to be a rollout plan, where I think now they're going to say open up everything so that people can go out to certain areas now and actually probably get a little bit more violent. I think violence is coming now. Like, it's going to be outright. They're not going for buildings and houses. They're going for people now. So that's what the military, I think, will be really going to be looking to be used for actual fist to fist and God forbid, actual shootouts, stuff like that. But yeah.
Well, but Mike, we need to walk this back and go down memory lane about how this all began, man. It was because we couldn't provide liquidity to the rest of the world. We are still in that position. So they aren't going to put everybody back. There's no way you're going back to work. You just fired that 36, 40 million people.
Yeah.
Fired them.
Yeah. And then
you didn't walk off your job.
And then the sad thing is, between now and the end of summer, or now and the next couple of weeks, depending on how the thing play out, all those small businesses will be burnt down, looted, or rioted. So it won't be no reopening, because there's nothing to reopen. So you think about this, about the financial response on that. Like, they're going to literally have to. Go ahead.
They're looking at half the businesses now. They've got a report out that said that half the businesses now are planning to file for bankruptcy within the next 2 months.
Yeah.
And that, that small business is what keeps this country operating. And you're going to tell me you're going to go back? No, you ain't going back. There's no V, there's no U, there's no swoosh, there's no W, there's nothing. It's straight down.
Yeah. Hey, man, but let me get a couple of people. I appreciate you calling, man.
No, I appreciate you, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Be good.
Bye.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to say, man. Let's get some more calls in here. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. This is Brando from Los Angeles.
Brando from Los Angeles. I ain't gonna ask you what the streets looking like, but give me your insights, man. What are you seeing? What are you feeling? What are you thinking?
Well, honestly, man, all is not what it seems.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I honestly believe all this was orchestrated, because like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I mean, not too long ago we were talking about Corona, and then Corona was dying down, and they were talking about them killer hornets, and then the killer hornets didn't do justice.
Yeah.
So then now, Steven Jackson, the NBA player, if you look at everything, it was another Freemason sacrifice that was used for an agenda. because all agendas are being used, and this was used purposely to fit the agenda because Corona was dying down, so they needed something else.
Yeah.
And, you know, Steven Jackson is going to reap his benefits from this.
Yeah.
Because he utilized his boy, just like they did with Trayvon Martin.
Yeah.
It's all a setup.
Yeah.
And it just happened to fit the narrative that they needed for the time for us to continue to be on lockdown. And then, you know, they want to also usher in this new economic system.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think they needed all of this. They needed the whole world to shut down in order for them to really do the main agenda, because we all know there's agendas within the main agenda.
Yeah.
And people are being duped, and they don't really understand that you are being set up.
Yeah.
You know, there's an agenda for their race war. There's an agenda for the economy, for the money. There's an agenda for, you know, the LBGP, ABCDQ community, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just multiple agendas, and they have the masses, the sheep, playing into it.
Yeah.
And then you start creating, you know, the black first white, and then the Black Lives Matter. And we all know it's leading to George Soros.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man.
So
I appreciate you. Let me get a couple more calls in, but I appreciate your thoughts. I don't mean to cut you off, but try to get a couple more thoughts in here. I appreciate you.
All right,
be good. Yeah, that's a lot of good points there, man. So an agenda on top of an agenda on top of an agenda. And here's the scariest, not the scariest things, but here's something else I think is coming. I've been expecting this for quite some time now. You got all this chaos throughout the country. I posted a article, let me see here, earlier on the blog that showed some of the hot spots, or, you know, majority of the hot spots, and they're all major metropolitan areas. And then we got the FEMA situation. And so as a result of all this, I can see there being some separation of states and separation of whatever. And so here's an article that I posted earlier with a little map here. And so this map here shows the areas that that were burning, or where there was reported fires and all types of things. So if you look at this map across the country here, it's pretty much in every major metropolitan area. All those areas will more than likely have boots on the ground within the next 48 hours. And then you factor in, they're going to look to shield and protect them downtown areas, but then eventually they're going to probably work their way into communities, preferably the areas that are already highly densely populated with, unfortunately, you know, black people. And so from there's going to be all types of things that we will not hear about. And then I believe to really control everything that they don't want us to know what's going to be happening, there's going to be a blackout. Internet will go down. Cell phones will go out for some period of a time. I'm not sure what, how, when, where, but expect there to be some type of power outage all of a sudden. They're going to, because think about this. We got the left-right paradigm going back and forth over, it's all politically motivated on some type of agenda, on top of an agenda. And if Trump is really, really trying to upend their plans on having Antifa terrorize the country, military comes in there, they're going to go after all that. And then what's going to happen is all of a sudden, to the second round, third round of an even lower blow is to hit the power grids. That's just my 2 cents there. And let me know if that's too far-fetched. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Bob from Illinois. What's going on, man?
Bob from Illinois. How you doing, my man? Give me what's on your mind. What's happening in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, well, I'm in a small town, so there ain't nothing happening here. But,
yeah.
I say no election. There ain't going to be no election.
I can probably, I can go that far and say I'm not. Yeah. Okay. which is different. Cause then what? Like, okay, so are we literally in full-fledged martial law? And then what? Like, that means everything's on all the gloves are off at that point.
Yeah. Well, you've seen, if you, I look at Trump on Twitter a little bit, not, and he's been saying the last couple of weeks, these governors, they're not doing enough and we're going to have to do something. And now it's like, okay, since all this stuff is going on, I'm going to take it on and we're bringing the military in. We see where this is going.
Yeah. And it will not be pretty, to say the least. So, hey, man, I appreciate you calling and sharing your thoughts and checking in from your neck of the woods. Thanks for calling in.
Yep. Take care.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Yeah, man. So okay. So somebody. All right. So on Twitter, there is something about the officer and how the gentleman that was in this picture here is not the same gentleman that was brought in and had his mug shot taken. And so I don't know where it's at, but yet I would say if you haven't seen it already, go on Twitter. You'll probably find it, and I'll look for it in a moment. But so yeah, if you look at the pictures of the person that's sitting there with their little, mugshot thingy, that's not the same guy as the officer there. So they played the old switcheroo with the because we never saw, they never showed him being brought in with handcuffs on. We never saw any of that. We were just told that they brought him in. They're going to put some charges on him, and they pass it over to the attorney general of the state. We ain't never seen this guy yet. So believe me, my first thought was, if this is not a false flag, but an intentional flag that was thrown out there, unfortunately, they don't care about human life. So it wasn't like a big deal to their overall agenda. And so no doubt that guy could have been a paid actor for all I know. Because once again, apart from apparently his wife divorced him or whatever, the guy could be sitting somewhere on a private island by now, man, for all we know, because there's a chance of it going to trial and actually being convicted. Yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath on that either. So that's going to really piss people off if they find out that was not the case. But enough ranting. Forgive me. Give me a call. Let's talk. Let me see here. Check in the chat. I see I have a bunch of friends. Haven't gotten them. Hope they're not talking about them stimulus checks, because they're going to have more coming as a result of all this. I don't know. Whatever. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hi there. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Chris from Decatur, Georgia.
Chris from Decatur, Georgia. Give me a rundown on your neck of the woods, my friend.
Well, Decatur's pretty. It's like on lockdown, and nothing really happened over here. Everything's down in Atlanta. I'm about 15 minutes away from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole thing is, bottom line, you're never going to defeat racism or anything with the U.S. dollar, because the dollar has slave owners and racists on it. So how are you going to beat racism with money? That's the only way you're going to beat it is with real hard, tangible assets.
Yeah.
And when that new currency kicks in, or say if Bitcoin take off like it does, if it caps off and you have some, or hopefully people have silver, some gold if possible, but at least get that silver.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a shift in the paradigm.
Yeah.
All this is orchestrated. So many businesses made money because I'm an insurance agent, and I'm telling you, there's going to be so many claims, and they're going to get that money they lost during the COVID virus. They're going to get all that money at the profits that they lost.
Yeah. When
you run into Target and take everything out, you just basically increase their revenue stream by stealing all their items, because now they can write that stuff all off, stuff that wasn't even being sold.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, man, that's another perspective. That's another angle right there that wasn't brought up until now. So, and then you think about all the other insurance companies that are going to be under a lot of pressure now for all the vandalism, off all the insurance claims, as you were mentioning, for theft, damages, whatever, small businesses, big business, you name it. Then you're going to have all the unfortunate, all the health insurance, or not health insurance, but life insurance policies from everything that's taking place. And so, but thing is, all those entities that are going to be expected to pay out, those are promises once again, and the promise is only valid as the currency they've been paid out in. So, yeah. Like promises, I've been mentioning for a long time, man. Anybody who's expecting some type of promise outside of something you can physically hold or own and get access to right away is bound to be reneged upon. So that's going to be a whole nother can of worms that opens up as well.
And I'll say this real quick, and I'll let you go. I know you got other people, but if you look at the stores here in Georgia, like Lenox Mall, and if you look at CNN Building, these are all entities that people that are residents of Georgia go to constantly. So I think a lot of this, when I first seen it, I knew that it was non-residents that was also partaking in keeping it going. So this thing is well organized. It's not cheap to protest. The signs are expensive. Staying out all day is expensive. So we're talking about we so broke. How you got time to go get these professionalized signs from Office Depot and stand outside? And then, this thing is organized, and they going for the martial law.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you calling and sharing your thoughts, my friend.
Right. Thank you.
Be good. Yeah, so that's another angle. Like, just think about this. A lot of people out there, especially in the city of Detroit. So just this past weekend, there were, I think, 100 people arrested last night, if I'm not mistaken. And they did a tally of where they reside at. We had 21 people from the city of Detroit. The rest of them was from the suburban areas, a couple of them from out of state. Something like, once I saw the mixed demographic of people, when I saw, it was a picture of downtown Detroit, and I saw maybe, in the picture that I saw initially, I saw maybe 5 black people, and the rest were, all types of other races or whatever. I'm thinking, like, hold on, like, they care that much about Black lives like that? Like, I'm saying, something like, the people ain't from Detroit. Like, Detroit ain't got that much, ain't got that many people in like that. I'm like, something don't look right here. And sure enough, like, people got arrested. Oh my goodness, 80% of the people were from the city of Detroit. Ain't that something? And so I don't know, tonight, curfew here. Another day, I was on a freeway yesterday, and I'm driving. I look in my rearview mirror. I see state troopers. And so, they riding kind of close to me. So I get over, and then I look back at my rearview, 6 or 7 state troopers like riding in parallel, heading downtown. I'm like, uh-oh, it's about to go down tonight. So yeah, chaotic, man. Anyway, let me get back to the chat. Give me a call. Let's talk. Nathaniel says, can you envision another country invading the U.S. under the reason of trying to free its citizens from the government tyranny? That may not be now how World War III starts. Another country invading the U.S. Ooh, Nathaniel, anything's possible. I just never thought about that one. So, but the question is, who's coming to our rescue, type of thing. So that would be one of my biggest questions. Who's coming to the rescue? Nitya Patel says, yo, did GF stay there after passing a fake bill? Stayed there after passing a fake bill. GF? I don't know what that means. Patel, what does that mean, my friend? Give me did GF stay there? I'm not familiar with that one. Missing calls, I apologize. Give me a call back. Let's talk. None of those people knew. Yeah. Oh, GF. Am I not? Okay. Okay. Did you stay there after passing a fake bill? Oh, okay. Now I get that. Did George Floyd stay there after passing a fake bill? I don't know. I didn't even get a chance to read in depth as to how all that went down, other than seeing lots of video footage of what happened after the fact. And then, there's more video surfacing that people were able to actually shoot of him. Actually, they show him in a car, officers, roughing him up inside the car. So that was not an accidental event. We can all agree on that now. That was what I would consider a hit. Like, there was something, somebody higher up said, hey, we're going to go for that gentleman there on this day. I want you to make sure you stand there, take a pose for the camera. We're going to have all types of cameras around you, so it's going to be well documented. And then from that point on, I want to make sure all those bricks, have you guys see there's bricks in every metropolitan area. There's bricks strategically placed right outside businesses for that event. So the bricks were placed there, cars abandoned, police stations abandoned. Right. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Casey. I'm calling all the way from Fort Worth, Texas.
Casey from Fort Worth, Texas. How you doing, my man? What's on your mind?
I've been reading up a lot of the stuff on George Floyd, and I think this is all, like how you said earlier, it's basically becoming like a false flag. First, when I first saw it, it just seemed a little fishy. It just seemed like how George was saying, "Help! I can't breathe. I need water."
Mm-hmm.
And it just seemed, if he can talk, he obviously breathe.
Yeah.
And anyways, as there, a lot of stuff started to reveal. First, George and Officer Chonovan, or whatever his name is, they worked together at the same nightclub for who knows how many years. Then after that, Chonovan's neighbors said that they never interviewed a cop. They never seen a patrol car in his driveway. Never seen him walk out in uniform. And they thought he was a real estate agent the whole entire time he lived there. And then, suppose, like how you're also saying that the pictures look different, and then supposedly there's a bunch of Masonic symbolism everywhere. And do you think this is? Do you think they're kicking in the collapse? They're getting ready for the because whenever I went grocery shopping this morning,
yeah,
food prices were, oh my gosh, they were like a little thing of steak I would buy was normally $10. It must have been 15.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these little bottle of waters for $2. Everything's going. I don't know. I think. Do you think the hyperinflation is starting to kick in?
I don't think.
They're just.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily hyperinflation kicking in. I think it's just out of the fact that a lot of people now are anticipating something. More people are looking to buy stuff. Stores are taking advantage of raising the prices out of fear of probably also losing out when they get rated themselves. So I don't think it's necessarily hyperinflation right away, but definitely inflation is creeping in on all fronts. So, but I think it's more so price gouging from stores than hyperinflation. But it's coming though, I believe. So, yeah.
When do you see the hyperinflation coming in? Do you think they're going to manage to get it before the election, or do you think Trump's going to skate by it in the election?
All right, so great question there. So this is, as everything unfolds, the faster this thing unwinds. And so, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not sure if you had a chance to hear me, but I mentioned that once all the boots are on the ground, they're scattered everywhere, which I'd imagine is a part of the plan anyway. Like all that militarization of the police force, stuff like that was done years ago. So everything is already in place. I wouldn't be surprised if within the next couple of weeks, however long it might take, that we have an actual blackout where power goes out, everything goes out. They blame it on terrorism or like if it is a politically charged, all of this is politically charged and is if a politically charged agenda because they don't want Trump, if that's the narrative that the Democrats are going to use, then they can go extra low by causing a blackout. And therefore, that's right there. That's going to be the financial system right there. So they can literally pull the plug at that same time because if everything goes out, power, internet, communications, we don't know. You can't log on your phone and see that, what your account looking like, I would assume, if power goes out. So at that moment, when it comes back on, it could come back on and say, they can tell us anything happened. They can say Russia came in and Russia. So now so people like, damn, Russia did this. So if the power goes out, anything is possible. So we could actually see some type of event like that this summer, man. I wouldn't even put it past how desperate they could be if this is about the presidency, like they want us to believe this is. I wouldn't put it past them at this point, my friend.
All right. Well, there's one thing I got to point out whenever we're talking about the blackouts.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Cooper's book, Hold the Pale Horse, he talks about that when they start rounding people up, they're going to do it on a day right after a certain holiday when people will be with their families and they'll probably be hungover or stuff. That's something to keep in mind too. So, maybe even 4th of July.
Yeah, I'm about to say the same thing. The 4th of July could be a hell of a 4th, man. It'd be a 4th we'll never forget.
The worst for it.
Oh my goodness! All right, man, I appreciate you calling, my friend. Thanks for checking in with me.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Oh man. See, that's the thing, man. When you get these type of calls, when people make you think a little bit, you come up with all types of crazy stuff, man. Spencer, appreciate the love offering. Says planned event, the movie, the military enforced the VAG. Yeah, man, don't say that. So we got Operation Warp Speed in full fledged. So here's the thing with that, and I don't doubt it. And that's another thing that came to mind is, establishing a military presence well in advance so that they could say that, oh, all of a sudden we did find a vaccine. They're coming next week. They'll be here next month. So that's the thing. We don't know, man. So I would definitely say that having military presence in the streets ahead of time definitely helps the Operation Warp Speed agenda. For those that do not know Operation Warp Speed, it's what President Trump talked about 2 weeks ago, saying that they're going to speed things up and getting the vaccine out, and they're going to start funding all types of this. And, well, of course, once again, there's already a vaccine that's already in Bill Gates' office waiting to be manufactured. So they make it seem like they got to go find it and come up with one. Right. Okay, sure. So, yeah. Oh, man, that right there. It says 2 clerks come out, confront, and say, we call the cops. So that's with George and the counterfeit currency. And then it says GF stayed there. I think it was a setup. So, George stayed. So basically what he's saying is with the whole counterfeit aspect, he was confronted by 2 clerks, looked like, and he stayed around. And by him staying around, perhaps that was his part in this, if that was the case, or who knows. But so yeah, I say we won't know the full story, but yeah, putting all the pieces together, we know that something's not right. Something is very fishy here. Therefore, if it smells corrupt and it smells like a stage event, more than likely it is. And then let me So I'm assuming everybody had to see it, but perhaps you have not. But as I was talking earlier about here we go right here. Here's a good example. So here's some examples where there's just random piles of bricks in areas where there's lots of glass. Like, none apart from those bricks might match this. So you could say they could have been left over by the workers. But then you got events, right? So in Fayetteville, you got these light stone bricks. Then you got here in Manhattan, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then here you got them in Dallas. So think about this. We got the whole terrorism activity that's going to be passed on Antifa. Ain't no telling what else they're going to put under that window of terrorism. Because once again, we've been fighting terrorists for 20 years now, almost. So, yeah. But anyway, who paid for these bricks? Here's the question. Like, where the funds? Trace the funds. Whoever funded these bricks, whoever funds the pocket change for those rioters. Because think about it, a good chunk of those rioters, clearly you got to be unemployed in order to take that $200, as somebody mentioned in the chat, to be willing to go out there all day in the hot sun and throw bricks, or not in the hot sun, but in the evening. Because I imagine all the true people that were coming for destruction, they probably came in the evenings when when all the bricks and stuff started flying. So here's something to think about. All these fresh bricks sitting around, mighty tempted for somebody who's down there with a paid agenda to say, hey, we're going to leave bricks on the corner of 3rd and such. Just go ahead and just, make sure you disperse them evenly amongst the crowd, and we'll give you a bonus type of stuff. So, but that stuff would happen. So for those that might not have saw that, I'll put that in the chat. Just typed in #bricks and it came up. So anyway, missed a couple calls. Give me a call back. We'll talk some more. 40 million people out of work. That's why they're rioting. People can't even afford rent. Babar. So that's another issue. We got massive unemployment. So that definitely does not help, given the fact that the economy, the income gap is only getting worse by the moment. Wall Street, I've been watching a lot of people I follow and interviewed or whatever. They're commentating on the events from a financial standpoint. And just this morning, the Dow futures start off in the red, but then start off. And here's the disconnect between reality. Who's really right now outside of those that are, aware of how to trade these markets and or asset owners, as far as shareholders of these companies, who out there really, dependent upon the equities markets to continue to stay in the green? Like, most people are unemployed. Therefore, they're probably looking to utilize the CARES Act to get their stuff out. And even the people that are employed now, businesses are no longer contributing to that 401k or 403b match now. So if your employer is cutting costs and, piling on the workload, but giving you less pay, people are taking pay cuts now. And it's the first day of the month. June 1st, people. Oh man. Anyway, I'm tired of ranting too much. Give me some more calls and we're going to dial back. But this week is going to be a hell of a week, man. This week is going to be a week that we will never forget, because it is a very likelihood that those governors and mayors or whatnot that's deliberately trying to make this a politically charged event, they're going to probably hold off on calling their National Guard troops that President Trump recommends that they do. And if they don't, he's going to send, as I start off with this broadcast, he's going to send in heavily armed military to stop protests. So once again, if an overwhelming majority of the protesters are actually out there and they're paid activists or paid terrorists, for the most part, out there to cause problems, all the military more than likely start off in the metropolitan downtown areas. And then where do you think those paid people are going to go? They're going to go to the area, to the residential areas. So they're going to start going out into the burbs. So think about this. Here's my thoughts, and I could be wrong, but I've played this out a couple of times. The first place they will probably go, paid or unpaid, for acts of terrorism, they're going to go out to the suburbs. And so whatever area you're in, think about where the wealthiest individuals might live at. What cities or what areas outside of the major metropolitan areas do they live at? That's more than likely where they might end up going, because those same individuals that are living on the hill, sort of say, they're the ones that probably own a lot of the business, or high income earners or high employed or whatever. So don't be surprised if now military start working their way into the neighborhoods first to patrol the rich parts, and then they might end up flat out terrorizing themselves, the inner areas where you have the less fortunate income earners or lower income earners. So just my 2 cents. But once again, I hope I am 100% wrong. Red Boy says, RTD, thanks for keeping it real. I appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for that super chat there. Appreciate your support, my friend. So yeah, what else we got going on here? It says, like the stream so more people can see. They need to hear this. Nathaniel, very true, man. That's why as I've been mentioning, I've been trying to figure out how to really just get more people tuned in. And so I'm gonna end up trying to probably up my live stream game during the day and do some more live streams so I can hear from people out there in the cities, in the streets rather. And so take a couple more calls and we're gonna dial back. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Linda from Tampa.
Linda from Tampa?
Yeah.
Tampa, how you doing? Go give me the rundown on your neck of the woods, Linda.
It's been crazy. Lots of kids on the streets, and they vandalized the malls. They vandalized some moms and pops businesses. Mm-hmm. They also raid downtown area. Mm-hmm. And that was only on the first night. Second night, there were 2 different riots in 2 different areas. Mm-hmm. The helicopter is, the news helicopter is showing over the whole situation, mm-hmm. The bridge. And then all of a sudden, he switches over to go to another area, and he turns off his mic. And then when he comes back up, he says, I'm not going to record that, or I'm not recording that. And I see a post on Facebook that said that as soon as the people that are doing the
broadcast,
the protesting, the protesting in front of the police. Mm-hmm. As soon as they took a knee to try to do the protest, the police actually went out there and started just doing shooting everybody. So they were doing a peaceful protest, mm-hmm. and the police actually started throwing what is that called? The guns, whatever, rubber bullets. That's what I'm trying to remember.
Tear gas and rubber bullets, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of people got hurt.
Yeah.
Then it's just been crazy. All of this is a setup, truly. I was looking online. I did some research, and it seems like the reset, the reset for the dollar, or the monetary reset, is going to be done towards the July 1st.
July 1st. Now, where'd you hear that at?
Well, I'll send you I just got your email, mm-hmm. so I'll be sending that information to you.
Okay, sounds good.
Anyway.
Appreciate you for calling in.
All right, take care.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Appreciate it. All right, so speaking of which, she talked about, bullets. So I'm going to play a video real quick. And so this is the article I posted earlier. But here is a video here. And so the person is doing some commentating from this video. And this is what they recorded. So watch this. So this is a residential neighborhood.
This is James Justice. Have a great day.
A residential neighborhood with one of the little Humvees in it. The Humvees I've been talking about for last year that's been dispersed all over the country. So they've been there for an event such as this. And then So this is from a video I posted on that same article where, police walking on the street in Minneapolis, and that's the curfew, be in the house, or they start letting off little green rubber bullets or whatever. But that, that's boots on the ground in the street. So that's like a realistic type of situation out there. Oh man. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Boots on the ground. Appreciate you for the love offering to the channel. It says, keep an eye on crypto. Money is moving around for no reason. Yeah. So right now, whenever you see like silver's 1825, Bitcoin just went above 10 G's tonight. I'm watching it heavily, of course. And I was basically saying that, you know, people are getting out of dollars. That's it. So that's a good thing. But here on this channel here, you've been warned. Everybody knows. So it's one of them things where, like I always said, you know, you can be a Bitcoin millionaire, but if you're locked in your house, you know, what good will currency or money or whatever do you if you're locked in a crib and, you know, can't go outside, they're going to shoot bullets at you or rubber bullets at you type of thing for starter. So, but yeah, that's definitely something worth keeping an eye on. I appreciate the love offering, my friend. So yeah, that's, oh man. So that video itself, when I saw that, I'm like, I got to definitely share that. So, but what is, man, it's just, we can go on forever, man, but I'm going to dial back. And as always, for those that have tuned in, I appreciate you for joining in. And what I want to encourage you to do, if you have not, on the rethinkingthedollar.com webpage, if you go to the very bottom of the page, we got the RTD social media. So if you click on that button there, and it's one of the things where I'm trying to get people to connect there, share stories in your neck of woods. If you're a content creator, share stuff there. And so we can connect afterwards here. So if you're interested or whatever, you want to share some of your articles and news stories in your neck of the woods, feel free to do so, and just go to rethinkingthedollar.com. Other than that, everybody, yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. So as I mentioned, I want to open up the mic more and have more of you guys call in and share your thoughts, because while we are able to communicate, I think we should take advantage of it, because I'm going to wrap this up by saying that as all this stuff continues to expand, I anticipate some type of internet's blackout, because think about this now, this internet censorship stuff. Those that have an agenda on keeping Trump from speaking his version of truth, as well as the alternative media side of things, they're not going to like us being able to communicate this way without them wanting to disconnect us or disrupt some things. So grid go down, oops, financial system go down at the same time. So that's something that can happen. And then July 4th, between now and July 4th, that's a month. We got a lot of things that can go down. So we're going to have more than enough stuff to talk about. So that's all I'm going to say. Not taking any more calls tonight. Let's come back tomorrow, same time, same place. Might end up doing one early in the day. So check it back. We'll make us some interviews tomorrow. But yeah, we'll go from there. But be blessed, be safe, people. See you guys later. Enjoy your night.